So are your single leg exercises actually training a single leg, or are they kind of training both sides of your body to be doing the same thing at the same time? And I'm making this video as like a follow-up to those 8 signs of rotation that I posted last week, because rotation doesn't always look like some kind of twisting, spiraling motion exercise. Sometimes rotation is just putting yourself in a position to allow rotation to happen in the body underneath the skin. So like this type of stuff. And it's not always gonna look like some kind of rotational exercise like a golf swing. It's not always gonna look like this type of thing. So for a single leg exercise, for example, if you just take a split squat, a common mistake that I see that doesn't let rotation happen is people can't get the joints on top of the joints. Like, I want the knee on top of the foot, like with the hip on top of that. And then if we can get the breast going on top of that, even better. But at least like for a starting point for people to get what this is, because people will do this and think that it's the right thing because they feel muscle, but it's not actual rotation in the hip socket. Another thing will be this, which feels really weird for me. But again, that's like, it's a way of like faking rotation to happen because we can't actually get there. At least maybe this is not the right exercise for someone, or maybe it's not the right place for you to be starting. So what I like to do for my running clients is if they can't get it on their own, like have a selfie cam or have a mirror that you're looking at. And if this tends to be like your norm, you can see it. So you can literally just make that adjustment, get things in line. And now, even though you don't see rotation happen, like it's not like a twisting exercise, you're still getting the bones to rotate in the sockets and with the other joints like they need to. And then all of a sudden, like your glute turns on. Like, this is my right leg, that's my left leg, this is like a mirrored camera. So if I'm doing my right leg and this is happening, I'm not getting that glute because it's just not in a position to pull on the bones. It can't pull on the pelvis, it can't pull on the femur. So if I do this, now like, yeah, I can feel my glute working, but now I also have things on top of the foot where the arch can also interact with what's going on in the hip. And then from the side, I think once you have that, it's gonna be a lot easier to understand like what the tuck is and what it means to keep your rib cage backward, because people will tend to do this a lot too. And if that's something that you do, like it's okay, you're not gonna self-combust, you're fine. But what happens is you can't get the hamstring to train to pull down on the hip. So if you touch your hamstring, it may feel like it's on, but it's just always working for a really long length. And that doesn't carry over to desired stuff like when you're running and when your foot strikes beneath you. So something you can do, once you kind of have like that joint on top of joint on top of joint thing down, and you have like a mirror helping you in front or to your side, now you can kind of look and see if the waistband is the hip. Just get that waistband to like connect with the sports bra, versus everyone tends to be like this. And it's really common, and again, it's not a bad thing, but just know that you're not training the stuff that you want. If you can get this, now you're getting like bottom of the butt and hamstring to interact, and you're getting those obliques to interact in the same part of the pelvis. So if you can get this, you're more likely to get this when you're running. It's kind of just like an algorithm there. And then you're also going to feel a lot cooler stuff happening where it's like you feel your abs in a leg exercise, which is pretty fun. And then the other thing too is with the foot. So with the foot and the knee going forward, a person that has a knee going forward but an arch that doesn't relax might be someone who just kind of made up for that range elsewhere. So when the shin travels forward, we should see that arch kind of relax into the ground. And then from the front it looks like this. But this is also really challenging because people want to kind of do this, and this was me for a long time too, and it's definitely easy for like the shin to go inwards that way and then the arch to relax that way, then the hip goes out. Again, it's not a bad thing, but it's just something that I commonly see. So if this is something that you struggle with, and I'm going to be putting out kind of like a little teaser for some stuff that I'm gonna release that's gonna be really helpful for you guys if you're a runner. What you can do is come down into a half kneel position and then line things up again. So if you're here, this stuff isn't lined up, but you want to have hip socket in line with that knee and that foot, and then feel that heel really heavy, and then just let things rock forward. Let things rock forward where you can still keep the whole foot planted and equal weight so the heel's down as well, but not to the point where like this is happening, and not here either. So that would be like things can't stay in line with each other. So as long as everything stays down and your hips can also stay squared ahead, then you're also going to have a chance to practice that, because this is what it looks like from the side. So here's the foot arch. I haven't rocked forward yet. As soon as I rock forward, and this mimics like your load acceptance phase when you're running, that moment when you're like fully weight bearing on one single foot. Arch coming down, rotating happening in certain places is our body's way of accepting load. Really sneaky way of doing it. Sometimes it doesn't actually do it and then it makes up for it other ways. But this is just a way to prime it. And then when I rock back, you see the arch kind of recoils up. And then when I go forward, it goes down. And this isn't something glaring, like it's not going to be really noticeable unless you watch movement for a living like someone like me, but at least it should be happening. And the lighting isn't great, but I just wanted to show you something really quick. So just to give you some insight into what rotation kind of looks like, even though it's not like a spiral movement. So giving you a little bit there, and then stay tuned this week. I'm going to drop something coming out real soon to help you guys out with your running.